What's going on, everybody? Rob A here, and today we're taking a look at something very special. My Beast of the Mesozoic figures finally are here. Well, most of them anyway. I think I still have 2 or 3 that have not yet come out. They're coming out in a couple of waves anyway. So for those of you unaware, Beast of the Mesozoic was a Kickstarter all the way back from 2016 where a guy called David Silva, who's done a lot of work for NECA and other toy companies that you've probably heard of, but I can't name all of them, of course, came up with this highly detailed, highly articulated, currently scientifically accurate dinosaur figures, and he started with Raptors, which is pretty cool, in my opinion. And finally, these guys have come out. You may have seen I already did a video on a display base from that series and some baby raptors that were also released. And I'll probably show those off later in the video with these guys. But for now, I just want to show off these particular raptors. Now, what I ordered was, I believe, the first 3 raptor figures, and then there were a couple of special edition Kickstarter ones that I also have on the way. So really, really cool stuff, but I do want to show off these first 3 figures, and I am super excited about them. So here we have your straight up Velociraptor, and you can see the really, really nice artwork as well. I'm going to try and show off all this stuff as much as possible. So you can see this is a Velociraptor right there, and let's take a look at the packaging. You can see all this stuff there. And it tells you a little bit about the series here. 26 points of articulation, really nice. Realistic movement and detail, display base and stand included. And this is number 1, the Velociraptor mongoliensis. And I'm probably not going to pronounce all of these, because while I am a huge fan of dinosaurs, I'm not a huge fan of trying to pronounce all of their names. So yeah, you can see the box. On the back here are the other raptors available. So you've got the Velociraptor, the Atrociraptor, and the Sagan, which is the third of the first group that I have on order. But this guy actually didn't ship with these, so that's fine. But you can see you've got the Sagan, the Atrociraptor, Sauronathalestes, I think I pronounced that correctly, the Balar, another Velociraptor, Osmoske, maybe, yeah, the Adasaurus, the Dromaeosaurus, the Acaroraptor, this one, the Pyroraptor, and Linoraptor. Or Linoraptor? I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure. I would have loved to be able to get all of these, but I just couldn't afford it, unfortunately. But you can go to creativebeast.com and order some for yourself. And a great thing about these is it has the Design Skull paint. It's got credits on the packaging, which I love, because we have different artists for each of the packages. I think it's David Silva and Matt Holt for the majority of the figures, if not all of them. So anyway, I'm going on and on and on, but I'm really excited about this. It's also got a little collector blurb or card or whatever you want to call it on this little sleeve here on the packaging that tells you about the figure that you've got. So it's 2.07 meters long. Tells you it's found in the Mongolian Gobi Desert. 71 million years ago, deserts and Velociraptor can be distinguished from other dromaeosaurids by its long and low skull with an upturned snout. So you got that. And look at that. It has a long and upturned snout. So anyway, that is the Velociraptor and the packaging. I'm not going to go in depth with all the packaging, but I just want to show these guys off. You had the Atrociraptor with my camera in the background. Sorry, we're not going to look at that so much. The Atrociraptor here. Same credits, creativebeast.com, same on the back. You got the little blurb about these guys. Savage Plunderer is the Atrociraptor. He's really cool. He's like black and red, he's super dark, man. Super dark. And then this one, which I think is going to be my runaway favorite of the group, is the Dromaeosaurus. Now this is a fan's choice color scheme. So we were given, when we did the Kickstarter, we were all given a bunch of different birds to choose from. And I believe this was a falcon of some kind. I don't remember exactly. It was a while ago. But this guy's done up in the Fan's Choice colors, and I think they look fantastic. And I love this artwork as well. And this is actually Sarah Richard that did the package art for this. So very, very cool. It looks like it has a sticker over the regular credits because it is a different artist for the Fan's Choice figure. But you can also see the other Fan's Choice Raptors. So they had the Dromaeosaurus, they had a Pyroraptor, a Sauronathalestes, and I'm going to say Zhenwan Long, and I could have totally butchered that, and I apologize, but there you go. And you can see it's a Fan's Choice Raptor up there, Dromaeosaurus, various stuff. So I'll let you read that if you want. So yeah, very, very excited to have these guys in hand. And you can also see they all have different like little thingy things there. But anyway, so what's going to happen is, as usual, I'm going to go ahead, open the packaging up, get these guys out, and see what they are like in hand, finally, at long last, and then I will share that all with you. It's probably going to be a longer video because there's a lot of stuff going on here, so I just want to really kind of gush about these raptors. So I'll see you guys in just a second. Okay guys, so here we go out of the package with the base of the Mesozoic, and I just wanted to show off these guys a little bit here, and let's talk about them. So as you can see, I've got the three raptors here: the Velociraptor, the Atrociraptor, and the Dromaeosaurus. And they are pretty darn great, to be honest. So let's take a quick look at the articulation you get with these guys. Let's go ahead and use Atrociraptor here. I'll take him off of his little stand. I'm just going to pop these guys in the background here. So here is the basic overall design of these raptors. As you can see, they are nicely sized. And they all come with this little clip. This little action clip here that fits onto the base. They each come with a base. And for those of you that saw my review on the kind of diorama base that you can get separately here, they all interact or interconnect with these bases as well. They don't actually like clip together or anything, but they do fit snugly into this little cutout on either side. You can do that, and so you can expand the diorama base out pretty much however you want. So it's pretty awesome. And they all come with this little stick with a ball joint in it that fits right into this little hole in the center here. And it's got another little post here, and you can use that to attach the action stand onto. Now these are not perfect, I've got to say. You have a couple of options here. You also get you get this tiny little guy here, and I'm not entirely sure what this is for, if this is just for like supporting legs or tails or what, but you can attach that as well. And you also get this kind of mid-sized half circle that you can use for just standing poses, when you just need to support the weight of the figure, which is pretty good. Now, I did notice this clip fits right onto the pelvis of these raptor figures, just like that. It clips right on. Unfortunately, on the Dromaeosaurus, his pelvis is thicker, so you can't actually attach this clip, or at least I haven't been able to get this clip to attach in any position on the pelvis. So that's why I'm only using the half circle support for that. But you can attach these to the stalk and it does a fair job of holding these guys up. The only other thing is this ball joint is not, it doesn't have enough tension here to really hold the weight of the raptor in any pose off the ground. So you do have to have at least one point of contact with the base itself to kind of support the weight of the raptor. Otherwise, this will just pop out. So that's just something to keep in mind, especially if you do have the larger base and you've got this tall stalk here. That if you have this, the tall stalk may not be able to hold the weight of the raptor, so you may actually have to have a separate base with like the half circle or the smaller one to like support the tail or something like that, just to support that extra weight. But those are minor nitpicks. You know, these are things that might be revised in later waves or something like that, but just things I wanted to call out because, you know, I have to review this thing and I have to be fair about it. So all of that said, let's talk about the raptors themselves. This is the Velociraptor, and you can see all the points of articulation are really, really nicely done, and the paint is great looking. You get those nice metallic red eyes, really bring out that eye on that figure. So you can open the mouth, of course. You see the teeth in there, and even got a ball jointed tongue on the inside. It's a little stiff, but you can get that tongue to pop should you so desire. And close the mouth up. You've got points of articulation here at the back of the head here, and at this first neck joint, and then again at the second neck joint, so you can get the head pretty far around. Now, due to the just the sculpt of the figure, it does get impeded when you're trying to bring the head up any more than, say, that. And you're not, because you can't really get the neck to totally straighten out, or at least I haven't been able to as of yet, and I don't know if I'm just not doing it correctly or if it's still stiff or what. Maybe it's a little paint stuck. I'm not entirely sure. It actually looks like this part might be glued, just based on that bit there. So you're not going to get a whole lot of raptors looking straight up in the air, and I don't want to force the ball joints too much because they'll just pop out and that won't help. But you can get some decent, you know, looking forward or, you know, running with the head straightened out. You can get some decent ones, but not a whole heck of a lot. And alternatively, you can't look down too much. Like, you can't get the head down any farther than that, just due to the sculpt of the neck and things like that. So there is limitation based on the sculpt of the figure, because obviously it's not, you know, you can't have real feathers that would move out of the way when you're just, so you just have to allow for those sorts of compromises there. But that said, you do get a ton of articulation with this guy. You've got a midsection, like torso swing here. You've got another, you know, section here at the neck. The tail is ball jointed. You can swivel it. You can turn it. It's on a ball joint and a swivel, so you can turn that tail and really get those nice balancing with the tail poses, you know. You can also pop the tail out, and there's a separate joint here at the, or a separate post hole here and here, so you can decide whether you want the tail kind of straight out for a running pose, or you could pop the tail down here and get kind of a you know, a tail up in the air for a jumping pose, or, you know, any kind of a, like an attack sort of position, as well as the separate ball joint of the tail itself. So you can even have this up in the air if you wanted to, and then straighten the tail out, so you can kind of get away with having it in the upward position and still having a mostly straightened out tail. The tail itself is also a wired piece, so you can bend it however you like if you want to get that perfectly straight tail, you can have that. If you want it slightly curved up at the back to show off those feathers, you can do that as well. And you just get a lot of options with that. The arms are also universal swivels at the shoulder, so you can get those going there. You've got a basic swivel at the elbow, and then another basic swivel at the wrist. And honestly, I would have loved to have seen maybe a universal swivel at the wrist so you can bring those hands in if you wanted to for more grasping, but this works pretty well, and you can basically get the arms to kind of do whatever position you want just based on how you move those around. So it's really not that big a deal, and you can bring these down here for relaxed positions as well. The legs are ball jointed at the hips, a little bit limited in their outward movement, so you can't have these guys like, you know, side kicking each other, but you can get some really nice poses out of those regardless. The knees are swivels as well as bend here, universal swivel bend, whatever you want to call it. And then the feet can swivel back and forth, as well as another swivel here at the toes. You've got the first claw toe on a separate swivel, and then you've got these toes on just a basic swivel around this direction, just so you can get that kind of ankle tilt for stability just out of those, as well as I didn't show this off before, but the little base that they come with can also hold their extra toes. So they each get 2 sets of toes. They have these standing toes, and then they have these running toes, which are closer together. But you can pop these off the little stalk, and then you can pop little toesies off like that, and just attach these. If I can get it done here without too much issue, because they are like all painted up, so there is some paint that just has to be gotten out of the way, but for the most part there's no problem there. And then you've got the running toes, so you can see it looks much more natural with the raptor in a running position, and then you keep that claw up in the air to keep it nice and sharp. And for the feet, the only I guess bother I have about the feet is that the claws are kind of in this upward position, so there's not really like an attacking claw position. I guess this would be the closest you're going to get, but it's a little hard to position these guys in a way that you can tell that, you know, this raptor is trying to claw somebody to death. But again, minor nitpicks, and it maybe, just maybe, we'll be able to get like a replacement claw with different positions, like a set of them in the future or something. You never know. But that's pretty cool. So this is the Velociraptor, and I'll just show off his other side here, just so you can get the idea of this guy. So that is the articulation. I'm not going to go over the articulation for all the different figures because it's all basically the same on all of these guys. So let's go ahead and pop the feet back in, and we'll check out one of these other raptors. Alright, so here is the Velociraptor. Let's go ahead and pull him off his base here. Let's pop this off. He comes with the desert base, which is cool. And he's got a very, very nice coloration. Just that kind of desert red and brown and kind of nice little beige colors. He's got a much larger toe claw than a Velociraptor here. And we'll just move him off to the side. Also, since I picked up I forget which color these were, it's like the tan or brown baby raptors, I think these look absolutely perfect as juvenile versions of the straight up Velociraptor. So that's really cool. I'm glad that I picked these up because I think they work very well together. And you can see the raptor's mouth just fell out of his face. Alright. So that's something I'll probably have to take care of there. And something that should be watched out for. So, Mr. Silva, if you end up watching this, just make sure you're keeping an eye out for that, since that could end up being a problem. But I think just a little dab of super glue on the end of that should solve it without any problems. And that looks really, really nice. Very well done. Again, just showing off the paint schemes of all these guys. But you can see, the detail is really went out of their way to get the detailing nicely done. You can see, it's a little hard to tell, but this guy's even got a larger tail fan than the Velociraptor does. Get off to the side there, buddy. And you can also tell that the wings or the feathers on the forearms are totally different designs. So really, dare I say, spared no expense. Really well done. Very high level of detail going into all of these things. David Silva just wanted to make sure that he was putting out the best possible product that he possibly could, and I think it worked out really phenomenally. So very nicely done. Velociraptor looks super cool and looks great in this running position. Yeah, we'll just pop this back on. And let's go ahead and get that back on the base there. You can see that nice raptor run. And last but not least, we have the Dromaeosaurus, which is this is the fan's choice version. And again, since his pelvis is actually a totally different design, you can see he's got all these extra like fur pieces on his body that the other raptors don't have. His pelvis is actually too large for the clip, so I had to just use the kind of support stand, which is fine. I like him in the standing pose because I absolutely love this figure. It's far and away my favorite. I love the head design, the skull shape of the skull, or the head, just really appeals to me. I love the coloration that was chosen for this. The tail looks really nicely done. There's a little bit of overspray, I think, of white paint on the tail there, but it's not bad, nothing terrible. Underneath you can see it goes from white to this kind of orangey brown. He's got the spots all over his body and this subtle blue in his midsection, the spots on the wings, and the white spots on the underside of the feathers there as well. Really nicely done. Just a whole lot of love went into this figure, and you can really tell. And again, he's got those larger toe claws, which is always a plus. I do like these big scary toe claws. And yeah, he stands very nicely on the base here, and it looks really well done. And again, you can take the base and just kind of nuzzle it right next to this guy, and then you can put your tree piece in, just like that, and you've got the start of a really nice diorama going. And you can even take this guy, if you so desired. We'll actually turn him around. Let's go ahead and get that guy. Let's bend his leg up a little bit more here. There we go. Come on, man. Come on. Here we go. There we go. And, alright, you just want to fall. That's fine. Maybe I'll put both of his feet on the ground here, just to make my life easier. But you can put these both here, and now you've got like a raptor face-off that you can have on display that looks really, really cool. And just overall, really nicely done. You can also, of course, pop the stand out. We'll attach that back on here, and attach this in here. It's the same. It's the same size holder. So you don't need to have the the bases that come with the Raptors if you don't want to. But you can, of course, use them. And now you've got even closer combat. And you can just leave this in here to just kind of fill that space out a little bit. And overall, looks really, really cool. There's even, I believe, one right here. So if you wanted to, I think... Let's move Dromaeosaurus out of the way here. Let's do an experiment. Yeah, that's in there. Okay. Yeah, you could totally have this guy just like chilling up on this log and just hanging out, having a good time, scouring the forest for food, and it just looks really, really cool. So yeah, overall, I am super excited, super impressed, and really, really pleased with how these guys came out. And I'm definitely looking forward to his next release, which is going to be the Ceratopsians. Certainly looking forward to those, and really excited to see what else he has planned for the future. So I will put a link to Creative Beast in the description below, so you can go ahead and support David Silva and all of his dinosaur endeavors. There you can pick up some of these raptors for yourself, and yeah, I'm just really excited. And I still have 2 more on the way, which is really, really cool. So looking forward to having those in hand soon. So yeah, but that's going to do it for this review, guys. I want to thank you so very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button. It really does help me. And of course, subscribe if you want to see more, as well as consider supporting my channel on Patreon. That would also help me out. But in the meantime, I want to thank you guys again for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.